Many thanks for joining us this time. This is the news on Galaxy Television broadcasting to viewers here in Nigeria, West Africa and around the globe. My name is Tife Tanimomo. Our top stories. Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum says over 2,600 insurgents voluntarily surrendered to the Nigerian military. Plus on the news, hundreds of Nigerian doctors participate in massive recruitment process to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And when we take you outside Nigeria, Chad's ex-ruler Hissène Habré dies at 70 Nigerian, a life sentence for crimes against humanity. Those are top stories. To bring you details shortly. Once again, many thanks for joining us on the news. Now we'll begin with security stories as bandits have attacked Nigeria's leading military institution, the Nigerian Defense Academy (NDA) in Kaduna State, killing 2 officers and abducting 1 other. According to a statement signed by the Academic Public Relations Officer, Major Bashir Jajira says unknown gunmen stormed the permanent site of the institution located along Airport Road, Afaka, in the Igabi local government area of Kaduna State in the early hours of Tuesday morning. The reports added that the bandits who came in a vehicle passed through the security gate into the academy, disguised as in military uniforms, after which they proceeded to the officers' quarters. On arrival, they began shooting sporadically. In the process, killed 2 officers and later took another major away through nearby hideout inside the academy. The sound of the gunfire, however, alerted the troops of the NDA Quick Response Team, who arrived at the scene but were unable to rescue the kidnapped officer as the bandits were already gone with the victim. However, it is worthy to note that the military institution is just opposite the Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, where 39 students were abducted by bandits recently. And now to other stories, particularly in Borno State. Governor of that particular state, Babagana Zulum, met with President Muhammadu Buhari to discuss voluntary surrender of over 2,600 insurgents to the military. Zulum, shortly after the closed-door meeting with the president, told newsmen that there might be need to explore ways through which more insurgents will surrender, at least to find lasting solutions to the terrorist crisis, which is assuming a generational dimension. The governor, however, denied the possibility of reintegration of the surrendering terrorists into the society. However, Governor Simon Lalong of Plateau State also visited the president at the State House, Abuja. Lalong, who, when addressing newsmen, said he briefed the president on the crisis rocking his state.
It's not a small issue, because we are not just saying that those that have surrendered shall be reintegrated into the society very soon. No. But mind you, among those that have surrendered, some are innocent. The way forward is that we shall immediately hold a stakeholders meeting in Borno State, comprising of the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Internal Affairs, the Attorney General, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, most importantly, the NIA also, because we have some certain foreign involvement in the matter.
Because since we came on board, we had done a lot in addressing religious crisis. Because what people want is whatever the nature of crisis that comes into Plateau must end up in a religious crisis. That I have done my best to make sure that we will not have religious crisis. What we usually have is the only state that has peace building. And when issues start like this, our peace building are always addressing the issue. It is the only state, I must say, for now, that has instituted an inter-religious committee. A committee. All the high top religious leaders, both Christians and Muslims, are in that committee.
And now on national security, the Nigerian police operatives have been charged to rededicate to the act of professionalism in combating crimes and criminality in the country. Inspector General of Police Usman Alkali Baba gave the charge at the Edo State Police Command Benin City during his one-day familiarization tour of the state.
When you do well today, if you don't commit the same type of energy, professionalism, resources, and hard work, if you relax tomorrow, crime will come back. So I want to encourage you to keep on doing your best and trying to make law-abiding citizens go about their lawful businesses.
Earlier, the Commissioner of Police, Edo State Command, Philip Ogbado, enumerated some of the command's achievements within the period under review. He appealed for the IGP's continued support to build on existing achievements.
Started with confidence building for officers and men, consultation with various stakeholders and community leaders, women and youth organizations, civil society organizations, with a view to establishing the now existing functional community policing with the aim to nip crimes in the bud.
Baba also stated at the State House Benin to visit. Baba also was at the State House, Government House Benin, to visit the Governor Godwin Obasekine's office.
You must adhere strictly to the callings of your profession. You must have been trained and certified fit to be in the police morally, physically, and intellectually.
And now on health-related matters, Nigeria now risks losing hundreds of its doctors to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, which is on a massive recruitment drive in the country. Galaxy's Godfrey Shimog reports that hundreds of Nigerian doctors, including many consultants, were at the Sheraton Hotel in Abuja Tuesday to take part in the recruitment exercise by the Saudi Arabian government. Godfrey Shimog brings us details in this report.
These are familiar scenes at job recruitment exercises in Nigeria. There is a special difference in this particular instance, though, as these are qualified medical doctors applying for jobs overseas, in Saudi Arabia to be precise. What you can see behind me right now is the process of the recruitment of Nigerian doctors by the Saudi Arabian authorities. This exercise is currently ongoing at the Sheraton Hotel and Towers, right here in the Nigerian capital, Abuja. Nigerian resident doctors have been on strike for almost a month in their demand for better working conditions, and negotiations with the government have failed repeatedly. And the prospect of working for the Saudi government is now seen as a big escape.
The federal government is showing the cold shoulder attitude, doesn't show any kind of responsibility or being careful about the situation. I can't imagine, I can't believe my Honorable Minister of Health came out and he threatened us. So I think it does not make sense, or it doesn't make much. I mean, it wasn't the situation. To be candid, we're very, very disappointed. I personally am disappointed. When I go to where I work in a very critical care services of the hospital. But basic things that we need, we don't have. Some things I used to put in my money to buy what I need, just for the sake of the patient. And to worsen the situation and to make the matter worse, and day by day, there is no any progress.
We escape from the hills in the society.
What do you mean by hills of society?
A lot of discouraging things. You see banditry, see kidnapping, incessant strike, and all those stuff. And if you can get a place where you can work, a place that is calm, a place where you can use your skill and you can be well enumerated, is it not better?
For Vivian Okolo here, it is more of a situation of heartbreak as she expresses frustration over the ever-worsening situation in the healthcare system, with this particular case in point.
I left medical school April 2011. My teacher is here. my own teacher, the first person I cited here, was my teacher, a seasoned pediatric consultant. You know what it means? My teacher that taught me how many years ago, I'm giving up on the country, on our leaders, and I come here to meet my teacher. I mean, this is the worst. I never knew it has gone this bad.
The brain drain by Nigerian doctors to the proverbial greener pastures has for long been a known fact, but having a foreign government conduct massive recruitment of Nigerian doctors in Nigeria is taking the issue to a whole new level, and there is no telling the likely far-reaching effects of this down the line. Godfrey Eshamoge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
Now, let's hold on to that thought. Joining us live from Abuja to speak on the prospect of hundreds of Nigerian doctors leaving for Saudi Arabia is Dr. Ekpekpe Moses, Protocol Officer of the National Association of Resident Doctors. Thanks for joining us live on Galaxy Television, Doctor, if you can hear me. Now,
I can hear you. Thank you for having me.
Now, let's begin with this particular matter. Let's get your candid opinion. Does it have to get to this, having our doctors leave Nigeria this way?
Well, it's a devastating sight to behold, to have our doctors wish to leave the shores of the country for greener pasture. I think it's a failure of the government to do the needful to provide incentives to keep its manpower, especially in critical areas like the health sector. The pandemic that occurred and that is still ongoing has opened a lot of people's eyes, and they have known that even places where they thought their health sector was good enough, the pandemic exposed a lot of loopholes, and people are beefing up their health sector. But in our country, rather than do the needful, we are even pushing our people to go abroad in search of greener pasture, better pay, better working conditions, better security. There are a lot of reasons why Nigerian doctors are going abroad, not just the greener pasture. So it's a devastating sight to behold. But I think the blame is on the Nigerian government. They have to do the needful, provide enough incentive to keep the doctors back at home, to provide better health care for Nigerians.
Okay, I understand that this is an unfortunate situation, but at any point has your association confronted the government on this massive recruitment by the Saudi Arabian government?
Yes, the association has been writing the government, informing relevant authorities that this brain drain, it will soon get to a critical point where Nigeria will either be relying on traditional healers to treat Nigerians, or Nigeria will have to import foreign doctors to come and salvage the situation. But what is happening is that Nigeria is a free state. Anybody can come in, do whatever they want. The doctors are not in prison in Nigeria. If you create a competitive environment, give enough incentives, your people will stay back. Nobody will go. So we, as association, the Association of Resident Doctors, the national level, we have intimated the Nigerian government of this imminent danger, and they haven't done quite a lot about it. And to buttress this point, we have been on strike since the second day of this month, and up to now, nothing significant has been done to, get us back to work. You can see that a responsible government will be responsible enough to keep its workforce at work. But when you show lack of care, when you show lackadaisical attitude, people who are more serious will come and they will pick your best and they will go and develop and beef up their health sector. So that is the unfortunate thing that we are experiencing. If not, we have informed the Nigerian government. They are well abreast of these developments.
Okay, quite unfortunate, but Doctor, finally, before we let you go, could you bring us updates on the latest development in your negotiations with government to bring an end to the ongoing strike? Nigerians, I believe, would want to know.
Well, it's quite simple. Before we embarked on strike, we consulted and we reached out to government, and we have signed previous memorandum of understanding, memorandum of action with government previously, and we have listed our demands ranging from, people being owed 2 to 19 months salaries and a whole list of other problems that we have listed to government. At the moment, they keep making promises and nothing tangible has been done. So the strike is still on. We believe that the government will be needful so that in no distant time we will be able to go back to work.
All right, Doctor. I believe appropriate quarters are listening and will do the needful, just as you said. Thank you so much for speaking with us on the news.
Thank you for having me.
All right, that was Dr. Ekpepe Moses, Protocol Officer of the National Association of Resident Doctors, who was just talking to us about the ongoing strike. Now, we are due for a break, but in the second part of the news, Nigeria resumes the administration of second doses of AstraZeneca vaccines from 25th of August to September 5th, 2021. We'll bring you details on that story and more on the other side of the news. Stay with us, please. Many thanks for staying with us. This is the news on Galaxy Television, in case you're just tuning in. Now, for more updates and latest news, visit our website at www.galaxytvonline.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/GalaxyTV Nigeria. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at official Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0818-6666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. Now, still on health-related matters, Nigeria will resume the administration of the second doses of the AstraZeneca vaccines from 25th August till 5th of September 2021. Addressing the media in Abuja Tuesday, the Executive Director of National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Faisal Shuaib, said this round of administering of the AstraZeneca would be solely for those who have taken the first shot previously. Galaxy's Godfrey Shimig reports that NPHCD ABAS also revealed that 29 states have received the Moderna vaccines.
Now that the vaccines are in the states, we're counting on our governors to continue to provide the needed oversight and resources that these vaccines are secured and maintained in the required temperatures, and that all eligible persons are mobilized to access the vaccines to protect themselves, their families, and their communities against COVID-19.
Dr. Shuaib, speaking to Newsman, said the 8 states that are yet to receive the Moderna vaccines have not shown capacity for the effective cold storage of the vaccines.
The remaining 8 states that we've not deployed the vaccines to have not demonstrated readiness in terms of their cold chain capacity. While on the one hand, they have the ultra cold chain equipment that the federal government supplied, but we've also required that they should have backup cold chain equipment. So Either they have a working cold room, a working freezer, or a chest freezer.
Meanwhile, as part of efforts to combat the third wave of the COVID-19 pandemic in Ogun State, the government says it has set up 131 vaccination sites for vaccination with 105 fixed sites. Commissioner for Health in the state, Dr. Tomi Kuka, made this known while briefing newsmen on the COVID-19 vaccination update report held in Abeokuta, the state capital. She said the number of laboratory confirmed cases stood at 5,181, with 73 deaths being at 1.4% of the total number of cases. She also noted that having successfully implemented an efficient first phase of the vaccination, the state has commenced the second phase of COVID-19 vaccination.
There are a total of 131 vaccination sites which are set up, with 105 being fixed sites, which include Olabisi Onabanjo Federal Medical Center, our state hospitals, and primary healthcare facilities across the state. We also have 26 mobile sites, which will be based in marketplaces, motor parks, and religious centers.
Let's press more into other health-related matters, as the Federal Ministry of Health has commended the Save the Children International Initiative, SCI, for promoting adolescent sexual reproductive health services and rights. Minister of Health, who was represented by Salman Ibrahim, made the commendation on Tuesday at the closing ceremony of reaching and empowering adolescents to make informed choices for their health in Abuja. She stated that the ministry has put in place a sustainability plan to ensure that the achievement of SCI are sustained through facilitating the domestication of the policy documents at subnational level.
The Minister of Health said there is no doubt that the project has within these 3.5 years achieved the set objectives in affecting young women and girls positively, especially in the area of child marriage, early childbearing, educational attainment, gender-based violence, which we have seen a lot of it during the COVID pandemic, especially within the first phase of the lockdown. He has also said that it has improved access to quality services, sexual and reproductive health and rights.
Shannon Ward, on her part, stated that the project, which started in 2018, has worked very hard in resuscitating and building the capacity of Children's Parliament and advocating for the passage of the Child Rights Act.
In addition, the REACH project worked very hard at resuscitating and building the capacity of the Children's Parliament, supporting the Children's Parliament to advocate for the passage of the Child Rights Act.
Across Nigeria, 11.6% of girls are married by age of 15 and 49% are married by 18, with wide regional disparities. And now to other matters. The Department of State Services has withdrawn an application at the Federal High Court in Abuja seeking to nullify the bail granted to 4 of the 12 detained associates of Yoruba Nation Agitator Sunday Adeyemo, also known as Sunday Igboho. Galaxy's Godfrey Shimogi now completes the story.
Through its lawyer, Idowu Awo, the DSS had urged Justice Obiora Egwatu to cancel the bail granted Amudat Babatunde, Abidin Shitu, Jamiu Oyetunji, and Bamidele Sunday. These are the 4 who the DSS claimed had greater involvement in alleged arms stockpiling following the arrest at the Ibadan home of Sunday Adeyemo in the early hours of July 1st. Lawyer representing the 12 applicants in a chat with the media said he is not surprised at the DSS withdrawal of their application.
The matter was supposed to be for the motion they filed against the cancellation or varying the terms of the condition granted for the 2nd, the 5th, the 6th, and the 12th defendant. However, when they knew that this is the end of the road, they withdrew the application in court. And that's a good one for us because it's a good day for justice as well. However, having said that, they've already filed an appeal against this same ruling of the court, granting bail to the 4 affected defendants. And that's not a problem. We are equally prepared because justice will prevail at the end.
The lawyer then gave an update on the release order for all 12 and the stage the processing is at the moment.
Pelumi Olajengbesi, who has been handling the matter before now, the more reason why he was not in court today because he was attending to the perfection of the release order for those 8 applicants, and then serious process is in progress, and we are believing the process as well that between now and tomorrow something good should come out of that as well. Write down the 4 affected individuals that they appealed against their bill. Those ones have been granted release order by the court yesterday. The court signed the release order for those 4 yesterday, and today we are going there to serve them with the release order, and we are optimistic that we are going to get them out from the custody today.
Godfrey Eshamuge, Galaxy News, Abuja.
Now, away from court-related matters, authorities of the National Assembly have charged the Independent National Electoral Commission to collaborate with the National Disability Commission to expedite actions on the collation of database of persons living with disability in the ongoing continuous voter registration in the country. Deputy Chairman of the House Committee on Disability, Cosmol Lungap, made the charge at the public presentation of the research on the participation of persons with disability in the continuous voter registration held in Abuja Tuesday. Lungap lamented low percentage of participation of people living with disabilities, urging stakeholders to assist and supervise the implementation of recommendations, which include establishment of a disability desk in all state offices before the 2023 general elections.
I told you in the House, I said all of us are people living with disability. Because I said everybody who uses glasses is also a member of disability. So 90% of us in the House will use glasses. So we're also part of you. And the most important thing you have said is, for me, I don't know very much. I go through my telephone to check social media and what people have been posted for.
The second issue is it had us engaged, and the management of the process. Some of them are not aware of the process, how the gathering provisions of all these things are applied in the field. We are so much concerned about this. A lot of conversation have been going around this, how we can make those who engage for electoral duties to be responsive.
On her part, Executive Director, Inclusive Friends Association, Grace Jerry, revealed that the Data for Insertion project started primarily because persons with disabilities were not captured in the voters' registration.
For your commitment towards improving disability inclusion and amplifying the disability rights. The Data for Inclusion project started primarily because persons with disabilities were not identified in the voter register of the Independent National Electoral Commission,
which seeks to share findings and recommendations on the research carried out on the reasons for low participation of persons with disabilities in various continuous voters registration exercises in the past.
And now to politics. Party politics, the Deputy National Chairman of People's Democratic Party, Yemi Akinwumi, has postponed the National Working Committee meeting earlier scheduled for Tuesday, 24th August. He also summoned a meeting for broader consultations for the overall interest of the party on Tuesday. This is coming after the party received a court order on Monday evening restraining party's national chairman, Prince Uche Secondus, from summoning and presiding over meetings of the organs of the party.
Section 5, bracket 3B of the Constitution of the PDP give it empower me to summon and preside over party meeting in the absence of national chairman. In the foregoing circumstance, as the Deputy National Chairman South, which is number 1 of the People's Democratic Party, after due consultation and in the exercise of said power, hereby deeming fit and proper to postpone the National Working Committee meeting earlier scheduled for today till further notice.
You will recall that there has been intra-party crisis within the PDP after some members called for the resignation of the national chairman to pave way for conflict resolution within the party. Let's stay with political matters for a moment, as the Northwest youth of the All Progressive Congress APC are calling on the party to have faith in them by including youth in leadership in the upcoming party congresses across the country. Addressing newsmen in Kaduna at the APC Youth Stakeholders Meeting, Comrade Abubakar Sadiq says the Northwest region gave the party its highest vote in the last general election, which came from mostly youth and women. Sadiq says the Northwest APC youth is pleased with the President Muhammadu Buhari's leadership, especially the women and youth empowerment programs through entrepreneurship, which has helped reduce unemployment in the state.
Before coming on this government, this administration, a lot of things are not going well when it comes to issue of infrastructure, so many issue of empowerment, more especially things that has to do with our offices, more especially the youth and women across the nation. We understand we have a lot of number of graduates, a lot of number of people that are out there looking for a job. But when this government come on board, the government realized that the government cannot accommodate everybody when it comes to issue of employment opportunities within the system.
The Northwest Youth South stakeholders say they are appealing for youth inclusion to enable them contribute their quota to nation building.
Basically, what we discuss and agree is we are still pleasing and trying to have more understanding with our leaders, especially the caretaker committee leaders, from Mr. President, the governors, and other leaders that has to do with the party. The young people, more especially, and women from the Northwest has contributed towards the development of this party and the love of this party.
Now, Ogun State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun has mourned the death of elder statesman, former chairman of the Nigerian Communications Commission and a leader of the All Progressive Congress and the state, Senator Olabi Durojaye, describing him as a pillar in his administration. Senator Durojaye, who was a leading member of the pro-democracy group NADECO, was also in the National Assembly between 1999 and 2003 under the platform of the Alliance for Democracy. The astute politician died on Monday night in Lagos after a brief illness at the age of 88. Abiodun is in a statement on Tuesday by his chief press secretary, Kunle Shomorun, expressed shock over the passage of the Ijebu-born politician. Abiodun described Durojaye's death as a great loss to the progressives, the political ideology he identified with and represented while alive. Abiodun lamented that Senator Durojaye died when Ogun and Nigeria needed his vast experience in politics, leadership, and service the most. Now to educational-related matters, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund is to disburse 292.66 billion naira to selected public universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education across the country. Executive Secretary of the fund, Suleiman Bogoro, made the disclosure while welcoming heads of beneficiary institutions to a one-day stakeholders meeting in Abuja Tuesday. Bogoro also stressed the importance of research to national development, saying the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari has been consistent in approving funds to see that academics churn out quality research that would address emerging challenges bedeviling the country.
But going forward, I want to assure you that we are committed to prioritizing research and development as well as other aspects that we call the content component. Our libraries, the facilities with it.
You're still on to Galaxy Television News. We take yet another break, but when we return, Oyo State government trains and inducts 5,000 newly recruited teachers and 700 non-teaching staff. We'll bring you details of that story on the other side of the news. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us on the News and Galaxy Television. We appreciate your presence. Now, Oyo State government has trained and inducted 5,000 newly recruited teachers and 700 non-teaching staff with a charge to them to be professional in the discharge of their duties. In his remarks at the event held at the International Conference Center, University of Ibadan, Governor Seyi Makinde declared the intention of his administration to continue training and retraining of teachers, as well as providing all the necessary supports that needed to carry out their duties. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that Makinde charged teachers to also be hardworking, explaining that their conduct would definitely reflect on the overall performance of his administration. In his remarks, the chairman of Oyo State Teaching Service Commission, Akiade Alamo, declared that the process of the recruiting of the new teachers was free, saying all the successful employees were recruited on merit.
We are expanding our economy, and education is one of the pillars of this administration. So, the burden that you have to carry is such that everything that you do in your various schools will definitely reflect on the overall performance of this administration.
Posted to all schools in Oyo State, all local government, all schools. And we have been monitoring them. They are youths and they are fresh from higher institutions, and they are performing wonderfully well.
High points of the occasion was the administering of oath of inducted teachers and also a symbolic presentation of certificates of attendance to them. An appeal has gone out to Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun to intervene as part of moves towards forestalling any breakdown of law order in Itili land over the ownership tussle that has lingered for long, head of the Adogunod Itili family of Itili Ota in Adodo Ota, local government area of Ogun State. Chief Tawaridi Dada, on behalf of the 4 ruling houses of the family at a press briefing in Ota, Ogun State, said they were judicially affirmed by a Supreme Court ruling of December 16, 2011 as the founders and first settlers of Itili land and solely eligible to the stool of Wonitili of Itili land.
On the 15th of September last year, the Court of Appeal delivered 3 separate appeal judgments. Adogunatele won the 3 appeals in respect of the entire land in Itili. So if anybody is saying that there's no Adogun, well, they need to go and re-examine themselves. So today, the reason why we are here today is just to put the record straight, to avoid misinformation, a lot of lies.
The Nigerian Institute of Town Planners has warned that Nigeria may be negatively impacted if a national physical planning is not put in place for its growing population. Correspondent John Felix has details of this report.
It has been observed that the vast majority of Nigerians do not understand what urban and regional planning is. Just as the increase in the nation's population and the struggle to acquire land by all individuals had led to clashes among people who used to live peacefully with one another in the past. NITP President Town Planner Tony Ayinde says the fact that land could not be increased or extended should serve as one major reason why the government should see planning as a serious business.
When we do a national physical plan, it takes cognizance of all components. Take cognizance of our housing system, our industry system, our employment system, our educational system. So from a national physical plan, you're able to identify where are our raw materials located. So where are the industries that will process them be located? Where are the likely markets, either local markets or international markets? So if we're talking of international markets, you should also be thinking of how they will be exported. So that's what will dictate the transportation system. You transport from raw material location to industry location, to market location, to export location. That's what determines planning. So if we do not plan, we're just joking as a nation.
On his part, the acting rector of the institution, Dr. Adeoye Odedeji, says the institution will key into the vision of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners for Exploit. He adds that the institution will commence 9 new programs in the Polytechnic towards maintaining its giant strides in technological education, as well as meet up with the 21st century ICT learning.
The Department of Epidemiology and Disease Control Technology, Department of Health Technology, and eventually the Department of Nursing Technology. All these departments will be taken away from School of Science and Technology. So we are expanding, we are growing. Then apart from that, we want also to start fisheries. All these together will give us 9 programs. And then above all, we'll be starting by the grace of God, our BTech next session in affiliation with all you.
With this collaboration, tertiary institutions of learning across Nigeria will be expected to key into this vision towards achieving a better Nigeria. From Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, John Felix reporting for Galaxy Television News.
And from Abeokuta, we move to Oyo State, where 85 indigenes of that state who are students of the University of Jos have been evacuated from the trouble spot by the state government. The students who hailed from different local government areas in the state requested to be brought to the state secretariat on Tuesday afternoon to show their appreciation to Governor Seyi Makinde. Correspondent Kunle Ojo reports that the government had on Sunday sent a delegation to Plateau State for the evacuation exercise, supervised by the special advisor to Governor Makinde on Student Affairs, Victor Olojede. The chief of staff to the governor, Segun Ogunyi, who received the students, said the state government would stop at nothing to ensure the safety and well-being of its indigenes across the country. You're still on to Galaxy Television News. Now let's switch gears for a moment and join our international desk for more.
Welcome to news from the international scene. Chad's ex-ruler Hissène Habré has died at the age of 79 while serving a life sentence for crimes against humanity. He was being treated for a coronavirus infection, reports say. Habré was found guilty in 2016 of crimes committed while he was president from 1982 to 1990. The conviction was the result of a landmark trial in Senegal. It was the first time an African Union Bar Court has tried a former ruler for human rights abuses. Habré was accused of being behind rape, sexual slavery and ordering killings while in power. He denied any knowledge of the crimes. A commission of inquiry formed in charge after he was deposed in 1990 said his government carried out some 40,000 politically motivated murders and 200,000 cases of torture in the 8 years he was in power. During the trial, survivors recounted gruesome details of the torture carried out by Habré's feared secret police. One of the most notorious detention centers in the capital, N'Djamena, was a converted swimming pool. Witness said victims endured electric shocks near asphyxia, cigarette burns, and having gas squirted into their eyes. In 1990, he was overthrown by rebels, eventually seeking refuge in Senegal. 2 decades later, a court in charge sentenced him to death in absentia for crimes against humanity. The trial in Senegal was the accumulation of years of campaigning by his victims and their families. After a lot of wrangling, the African Union signed a deal to set up a special tribunal to try the former leader. Habré seized power in 1982 from Goukouni Oudéi, a former rebel comrade who had won election. It was widely believed that he was backed by the CIA as a bulwark against Libya's then leader, Colonel Muammar Gaddafi. Moving on to Afghanistan, it is unlikely the deadline to evacuate people from Afghanistan will be extended beyond 31st August, the UK Defence Secretary has said. Prime Minister Boris Johnson is expected to ask U.S. President Joe Biden for an extension of the 31st August deadline when it chairs a virtual G7 meeting on Tuesday. Mr. Johnson will also call for an increase in aid and promise to use every humanitarian and diplomatic lever to protect human rights in the country. The UK, France and Germany have all raised the possibilities of U.S. forces staying beyond the end of August to continue the airlift, and reports suggest Mr. Biden will decide within the next 24 hours whether to push back the deadline. The United Kingdom has evacuated 8,458 people from Afghanistan since 13th August, according to the Ministry of Defense. Of these, 5,171 are Afghans eligible for relocation due to their association with the United Kingdom government or who are at risk from the Taliban. But ministers have been clear that British forces in Kabul cannot stay once the U.S. have left. Everyone knows that the rest of the international community wishes to have more time, but there are two other people with a voting that is the Taliban and the President of the United States. And in the end, both of them have significant power in that final decision, he added. The Taliban's swift takeover of Afghanistan has shocked its people and the world. It happened after foreign forces announced the withdrawal following a deal between the U.S. and the Taliban, 2 decades after American-led forces removed the militants from power in 2001. Ahead of the meeting, Mr. Johnson said the first priority should be to complete the evacuation of their citizens and those Afghans who have assisted their efforts over the last 20 years. There have been chaotic scenes at Kabul airport as people desperate to flee the country crushed around access point, and a member of the Afghan security forces was killed in an isolated gunfight with unidentified attackers on Monday morning. More than 1,000 UK troops are on ground in Kabul, helping to secure the airport and process British nationals and eligible Afghans. Still on the international scene, Zambia veteran opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema has been sworn in as president in front of a packed stadium in the capital, Lusaka. During a long political career that saw him fail in 5 previous bids to become president, Mr. Hichilema was brutalized, tear-gassed, and even detained for a traffic offense in 2017 that was deemed treasonous after his convoy failed to give way for the motorcade of outgoing President Edgar Lungu. But in an extraordinary reversal of his fortunes, the man once declared an enemy of the state has been sworn in as Zambia's 7th president after defeating Mr. Lungu in their latest election duel on 12 August. It's massively inspirational, said Tanzania's opposition leader Tundu Lissu, who survived an assassination attempt in 2017 after being shot 16 times by people he believed were state agents. He said Zambia have shown them it can be done no matter what they put them through, no matter the odds, he added. In his inauguration speech, President Hakainde Hichilema promised Zambians that change has arrived. The newly inaugurated leader, who won a landslide victory against the incumbent Edgar Lungu in elections earlier this month, said the future would not be without challenges, but he added the economy would be revived. He promised Zambians 3 decent meals a day. He said no Zambian should go to bed hungry. His administration would look at reforms to the mining, energy, land and tourism sectors. The 59-year-old also thanked his predecessors for his service and for smooth transition of his administration. This was the country's 3rd peaceful and democratic transfer of leadership over the past 3 decades, something that was of great credit to Zambia, Mr. Hichilema said. Setting out his administration's commitment to educating the young, he said education is the best investment of any child, and he is an example of that. Calling for unity, he reiterated the slogan of Zambia's founding father, Kenneth Kaduna, who died in June, aged 97, "One Zambia, one nation." And that's it from news from the international scene.
Welcome back. Now, from our international news, we move to entertainment news. Stay with us.
Welcome to Entertainment News. On August 24, 2021, Grammy-winning Nigerian superstar Wizkid made in Lagos hit a new peak of number 58 on the Billboard 200. It also hits number 1 on Billboard's World Music Album chart. This comes after Essence Remix with Justin Bieber hit a new peak of 16 on the Billboard Hot 100 by climbing 28 places from 44. In other news, the album is also set to get a deluxe on August 27, 2021, and it will feature Buju and Justin Bieber. When the deluxe was around, Bella Shmurda was rumored to be another of the featured act, but it appears that he didn't make the final cut. Some fans have also speculated that he might be on the album, but not as a listed feature, while others have speculated that his label issues led to his inclusion. In another news, the Nigerian actress Sadiya Haruna has been dealt with by the Kano State Hisbah Board after she pleaded guilty to a one-count charge of obscenity and indecent act. A report that the Kannywood actress was initially arrested and detained on Friday by the head of the surveillance department of Kano State Hisbah, Malam Ali Usman. The actress had been accused of posting inappropriate videos and making sexually suggestive comments across the social media pages and YouTube channel. Haruna pleaded guilty during a Sharia court sitting in the Sharada area of Kano State. According to reports, they haven't been found guilty back 6 months in an Islamic school. Haruna is expected to report to the Duru Hadith Ismaiya section at Tuden Yola quarters on a daily basis for the period of 6 months. She's also to be escorted by Hisbah officials to ensure that she's monitored for the duration of a sentence. Meanwhile, popular Nigerian businessman Obi Kubana is proof that consistency and hard work pays and is interested in pushing that narratives on Nigerians. Ever since he threw a lavish burial for his late mom in Oba, Anambra State, he has been a topic of interest on social media. He urged them never to give up. And finally, on entertainment news, Davido's controversial Aid Israel DMW has taken to his Insta story channel with an update for members of the online community.